Here we are today with another RetroJunkie.net video, dealing with something a bit more modern than I'm used to, Xbox. Now it's not your stock standard Xbox, friend of a friend, Higgsy we used to call him back in school. He was a joker. As you can see, his last prank that I ever remember him doing was putting a 9-volt battery in the middle of an Xbox. If anyone has any ideas on what exactly I'm looking at, I'd really like you to give me some feedback. But pretty much there's a 9-volt battery in the middle, just sitting there. It's wrapped in tape though, so it doesn't short out. Whole bunch of cut wires here, which run to absolutely nowhere, but they're stripped so they can short out on things. That's probably not the best thing to do. The wires aren't needed, don't leave them in there. I've also got black and red cut on this end as well, which run to the connector on the left there. And then we've got a bunch of resistors which I'm led to believe are some sort of LED mod. So you'd get beautiful lights pulsating out the front of your controller ports on your Xbox. Probably wouldn't be that glorious, given that it's a miracle your Xbox is working, given there's a giant 9-volt battery in the middle of it. And we've got a lot of bare wires just floating around over things, and especially over here near the power supply, we've got a couple. We've also got a switch on the back, which seems to wire into this mess. So leave a comment. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about this one. We've also got something I discovered, looks like a bit of capacitor leakage there. Bit of corrosion on the board. Hopefully these capacitors are easy enough to replace. If anyone knows also what version or what revision of this board I'm looking at, that would be great. If I haven't taken any video of it though, let me know and I'll have a quick poke around. Alright, I've cleared out most of the croft. Basically that battery just seemed to be LEDs, and there was a switch at the back that would turn on LEDs. Powered off that 9-volt battery, which seems a terribly inefficient way of doing that. Anyway, I found that aside from that, we've also got 2 sets of severed cables which seem to run to players 2 and 4. Player 3 is intact, as is player 1. So those just need to be rewired in. Unfortunately, the actual sockets are pretty damaged. So I don't know if there's going to be much I'm going to be able to do about player 4, but player 2 does seem to be mostly there. One of the traces is lifted, but you can do what you can do. So I'm going to source some replacement capacitors for down there. See all that corrosion around there. Clean that off and get some fresh new caps, and hopefully we'll be as good as new. Another thing we noticed is the IDE ribbon had a cable coming off it. Don't ask me, I'm not an Xbox person. Xbox! Well, we've had some bit of good news. These controller cables are easily replaceable. There's replacements on eBay, so that's sorted. Looks like the cut in the cable up here was due to hard drive controller LED, which makes sense because there is a little space on the front here for an LED, which I pulled out. So yeah, it's good so far, so that's easy to replace. Just get 2 more controller ports if I really want to. In the meantime, I've just removed the cables from the actual things. They don't short out on anything. Did have them taped, but I think it's better to just remove them since I'm not going to be using them again. Someone got an email. This little capacitor here is the supercapacitor, which is a date it's a date-time battery essentially, reminiscent of its NiCad past, probably. NiCad's past. It's decided to leak all over the board. So it's the culprit, 2.5 volt, 1 farad. So holds quite a bit of charge, being a 1 farad. So I can either just remove that off the board or I can replace it. Depends how much I'd yearn for date time to be held while it's unplugged. Not really fussed, but might as well replace it since I'm going to order just these few capacitors around it, just so that I can be sure it's that one that's leaking. Well, I know, it is pretty sure, but there's a lot of corrosion on the board, and if that has damaged any of the other ones nearby, probably best to just replace them. Ideally I'd replace them all, but again, it's not really my system, so it's not my place to replace them all. But I would like to play Burnout on this system one day. Another thing about the mods that were done on this is that there are no screws in anything above this, so the hard drive just slides around. I'm going to try and find some screws for it. They even took the screws off the optical drive cover. It's a Philips drive. Model VAD6011/21. Made February 2003. What's this Seagate drive? What am I looking at here? What size is that? Can't see the size. Am I going blind? Or does it just not say it? Model ST31001 for ACE. ACE. Very cool. So most of the capacitors on board here are Nichicon, which Nichicon was affected by the capacitor plague, bad caps. And I've got a lot of them, so here's hoping they don't explode. No guarantees in life, obviously, but stay tuned, and in the next few weeks we'll hopefully have this little system up and running. Thanks for watching.